In January of 1992, Yvonne Bornstein, a wife, mother of two, and businesswoman, found herself caught up in the political disintegration of the Soviet Union. Lured to a newly capitalist Moscow by a business proposition, Yvonne was kidnapped, tortured, and held for $1.6 million ransom by a group of Chechen rebels linked to Al-Qaeda. Yvonne finally found the strength and courage to move beyond the tormenting memories of the experience to once again find her way back to joyful living and happiness.
You know, every time I hear the news from Iraq that somebody has been kidnapped and beheaded, my mind goes back to when I heard the chilling words, "You will pay us $1.6 million or we will kill you." This is when my life changed profoundly and eternally. Those words were absolutely terrifying, and they've haunted me for the last 13 years. They've made me wonder if somebody is lurking around the next corner, somebody who has been sworn to avenge the people who made that original threat, people who will not rest until the job is once and for all done. Many experiences happen to us throughout a lifetime. Some where we can move quickly through, discover the lesson, and quickly rebound into a much more powerful existence. And then there are these other experiences, like the one I'm going to share with you today, that are much more challenging, much longer lasting, if not nearly impossible to overcome. But I did, and I will tell you how. By this time I was screaming. I feel nervous just talking about it. I was trying somehow to dig my heels into the asphalt of the road to break the upper momentum of my body, but I could feel myself being manhandled, and I was dragged along, and I was screaming, and I was pulled by the hair until I was finally deposited in the back seat of this Russian-made automobile. I had absolutely no control over my body. It was as if I was a spectator watching myself in this terrible horror movie. But my brain couldn't process this all fast enough for me to realize that this was actually happening to me. It was as if through a tunnel that I could see my husband Danny in the car in front, in the original car that we'd been in, and he was being pulled from the front seat of the car into the back seat of the car, and he was flanked by these two horrible looking men, and I could see the driver turning around and he was waving his fist just inches from Danny's face. It was as if through a tunnel I looked up and I saw the car roar off at breakneck speed, and I lost sight of the car. I tried calling out to Danny, but nothing came out of my mouth. So I was alone. Danny was gone, and all I could see were these two swarthy looking men sitting, holding me very tightly. I had a knife at one side of my throat, and I had a gun at the other side of my throat. And I didn't know what was happening. And in my haze, I'm thinking, so what is going to happen now? Am I going to be raped, killed, dumped by the side of the road in this isolated forest? And why was this happening at all? We were taken to a dacha, which is like a Russian country house. Now, by Western standards, this house was very badly run down. But by Russian standards, this was a very affluent neighbourhood. When we pulled up into the driveway, I saw 9 more big, burly men standing on the veranda. There was also a long, grey-haired babushka, which is a grandmother, and all of these people looked mean. They looked really evil. We were two mere people against these menacing figures, which looked like something out of a nightmarish Hitchcock film. You need to forget about your self-pity. You need to confront your demons head on so you can feel how good it is to be alive, and you can drive on down that road instead of spinning your wheels in the mud. Challenge yourself. Create your own growth. I'm quite sure that there are a few of you sitting here that have your own horrifying version of my story. Well, maybe not quite as dramatic, but I'm sure you do. The bottom line, face your fears. Instead of running away from them, face them. Never, ever did I believe that I could be as strong on the inside as I turned out to be. I may have thought deep down that I was, but in actual fact I never really believed it. And now I do. And you know what? So can you. It's so easy. You must turn the negative into the positive. Appreciate every single second of every day, because life is good. Life is wonderful. It's just really a pity that some of us have to go through a crisis of sorts to find out how to be grateful. There are two key elements that we need to use in our everyday lives. One of them is gratitude. Appreciate everybody and every second of every single day. And the second is your attitude. This good attitude of yours sits on your shoulder and should follow you round all day, every day. I look at my life as I can look at it today. The defining moment came on that bleak morning of 1992 when I fully believed that I was about to die. But in actual fact, that was the day that I had just begun to live.